Hello friends, in today's video lecture we are going to discuss about epidermal glands, that is derivatives of the integument, which is epidermal glands, right? In last video lecture we discussed about epidermal scales, right? So in this video lecture we are going to discuss about epidermal glands, right? Let's start. So first thing is that epidermal gland will form from the Malpighian layers of epidermis. According to their structure, they are unicellular, tubular and alveolar, right? So the thing is that these epidermal glands get formed from this Malpighian layer of the epidermis, right? So we know that epidermis is made up of several layers, right? Stratum corneum and Malpighian layers are the two major layers of the epidermis, right? So from this layer the epidermal glands will get originated, right? So depending upon their structure, okay, so depending upon the structure, these epidermal glands can be divided, okay. So first one is unicellular, second one is tubular and third one is alveolar, right? So we will see one by one. So first is unicellular glands, right? So unicellular glands are single modified cells as found among other epithelial cells. They are present in amphioxus, cyclostomes, fissures and larvae of amphibians, right? The cells of unicellular glands are called mucus cells or goblet cells. Okay, the thing is here they are single modified cells, okay? So the unicellular epidermal glands are made up of single modified cells. They have only one kind of cells and which are get modified, right? Among the other epithelial cells, they are present among the other epithelial cells. They are present in amphioxus, cyclostomes, right? Fissures and larvae of amphibians. And the cells of unicellular glands, okay? So whatever the cells present in epidermal glands, okay, in case of unicellular glands, those cells are called as mucus cells and are goblet cells, right? Next point. Next one is tubular glands, right? So they are multicellular tube-like formed as ingrowth of Malpighian layer into dermis. For example, glands of mole on the margin of the human eyelids, right? And tubular glands may be coiled, okay? They may be coiled. The good example for that is sweat glands of mammals, right? So here in case of tubular glands, they are multicellular, right? In case of unicellular glands, they are single and modified. But in this case, they are multicellular and tube-like forms. They are looks tube-like and they are formed as ingrowth of Malpighian layers. Okay. So in this case, what happens? These glands are originated by ingrowth of the Malpighian layer, right, into the dermis. Okay. For example, this is the Malpighian layer and this is the dermal layer. Okay. So here what happens? These glands will ingrowth like this. They will reach us to the dermis layer. Okay. So such type of glands are nothing but the tubular glands. Okay. The good example is glands of mole in the eyelids, margin of the eyelids. Okay. There they have the tubular glands, right? These tubular glands also coiled in form. Sometimes they will be coiled in form. The good example is sweat glands of mammals, right? And third one, alveolar or sacral glands, right? So in this case, they are multicellular downgrowth of Malpighian layer into dermis having a tubular ducts. Terminal parts get expansion to become flask shaped. Okay. So the good example is Poisson glands of the amphibians, right? So in case of alveolar or sacral glands, what happens? Both tubular and alveolar glands are multicellular in nature. This one, they are multicellular and they have the same arrangement, that is ingrowth, right? Or down growth towards the Malpighian layer, towards the dermis, right? So to Malpighian layer into the dermis, both having the same nature, similar nature or same nature, having the tubular ducts, right? And terminal parts gets expansion. So the terminal parts of these glands will get expanded in form and become a flask shaped. The terminal will become somewhat expansion. They become the flask shape. That's why the term used alveolar or sacular, means it looks like a sac, right? Okay. They get expansion to become flask shape. Okay. The best example is Poisson's gland of the amphibians, right? So the Poisson glands of the amphibians is a good example for the alveolar scales. Sorry, alveolar or sacular glands, right? And the next point, depending upon this, we have some glands regarding the epidermal glands, right? Which are get originated from the epidermal gland. We will see one by one. The first one is mucus gland, right? First one is mucus gland. They may unicellular or multicellular. The cells of this gland produce mucus, keeps the skin moist and slippery. Mucus also affords protection against bacteria and fungi. These glands majorly found in fishes, cyclostomes and amphibians, right? So in this point we are discussing about mucus glands, which is one of the derivative of the epidermal, right? Epidermal gland, right? They are unicellular, means made up of single modified cells, or they may be multicellular, means they are made up of many number of cells. They may be unicellular, multicellular. The cells of this gland, okay, whatever the cells present in this gland are produce a substance called mucus, right? So the mucus gland produce mucus, right? What this mucus will do, right? This keeps the skin moist, right? Its main function is to keep the skin moist. Not only keeping the moist, it also make it slippery, slimy, right? And the mucus also affords protection against bacteria and fungi, right? So first main function is it will keeps the skin moist. Second, it will make the skin slippery. And third, it protects against bacteria as well as fungi, right? These glands majorly found in fishes, cyclostomes and amphibians, right? So this is about the mucus gland, right? And second one is Poisson glands, right? Poisson glands. How they are? They are alveolar glands, larger and more in number than mucus glands. These glands found in amphibians. In total, mass of Poisson glands form a parotid glands behind the head. The secretion of Poisson glands have burning taste and used for defense, right? So in case of Poisson gland, they are alveolar glands. They will show a flask-shaped structure, right? And they are large, means they are very large in number as compared to the mucus glands, right? And these glands found in amphibians. Majority of the glands will found in amphibians. And in case of toad, what happens? A mass of Poisson glands, right? In case of toad, a mass of Poisson gland will form a parotid gland, will form a gland that is called as parotid gland, which present just behind the head, right? And the secretion of this Poisson gland, okay, so whatever the secretion is secreted by the Poisson gland have a burning taste, okay. The nature of the secretion of this Poisson gland have the burning taste, which is used for the defense mechanism, right? In case of amphibians, they have a mass of Poisson glands, right? In case of toad, we are talking about. In case of toad, they have masses of Poisson glands just beneath the head called as parotid glands, right? So these glands secrete a secretion which is have the burning taste, right? So this burning taste will help them to defense mechanism, right? This is regards the Poisson glands, right? And third one is the femoral glands, right? So what are femoral glands, right? So these glands are majorly found in reptiles and some of fishes. In male lizards, below the limbs from knee to cloaca, they were present. This gland secretes a sticky substance which hardens into short spine used for holding the female during copulation, right? So the thing is here, these glands are majorly found in reptiles. Okay, the majority of the femoral glands were observed in the reptiles, and some of them will be found in fishes. Okay, so in case of lizard, what happens? These femoral glands are located at the limbs from knee to the cloaca region. Okay, from knee to the cloaca region, these femoral glands were situated in case of lizard. Okay, so what they will do? They will secrete a gel-like substance. They will secrete a gel or sticky-like substance. Okay, what this sticky-like substance will help for them? Means they form a sticky-like substance which hardens, which get hard, which get tough to form a spine-like structure. Right? That will form a short spine-like structure which help them to holding the female. Okay, those secretion after some time they get hardened and they will become spiny-like structure. That structure will help them to holding the female during copulation. Right? So this regards the femoral glands. Femoral glands, they are majorly found in reptiles and some of them will be found in the fishes. Right? The secretion of the femoral gland will be gel-like. Right? After it, and it is very sticky. Right? And after sometimes it get dried and become spiny. Right? And fourth one gland is uropygial glands. What are the uropygial glands? Right? So here the glands only found in birds, and they are best developed in aquatic birds. These glands are branched alveolar glands and located on dorsal side of tail. They secrete oil which is odoriferous during sexual activity. Okay, we know about this. So uropygial glands are those which mainly confine to the birds. Here they are only present in the birds, right? And they are majorly and they are best developed in case of aquatic birds. Uropygial gland, first of all, uropygial gland, they are only present in the birds, and in case of aquatic birds, they have evolved very highly, or they will develop very highly. These glands are branched alveolar glands, right? And located on dorsal side of the tail. Okay, the position of the uropygial glands in case of birds is at the tail region. Okay, a dorsal side of the tail region. Okay, what this will do? Okay, the help of this enzyme is it will secrete oil. It will secrete oil which expel the smell, which will produce the smell. Okay, this smell is used in the sexual activity of the bird. Right? So here the uropygial glands is mainly confined to the birds. Okay, in case of aquatic birds it is developed very highly and it is very best developed in case of aquatic birds. Okay, it will secrete oil which expels the smell. Okay, with the help of the smell the bird will show the sexual activity. Right? And the next gland is that sweat glands. Right? So in sweat glands, these are long coiled tubular glands. These glands secrete sweat continuously. It may or may not be visible. Sweat contains a large amount of water having dissolved salts, sodium and urea. These glands are majorly found in mammals. Right? So this gland, sweat glands, is regarding this. These are long coiled tubular glands. Right? So this is long as well as coiled and tubular glands. Means tubular means they are multicellular in nature, right? They are long, coiled, multicellular glands, and this gland secretes sweat. Okay, the secretion of the sweat is continuously, but the thing is that it may or may not visible. Sometimes it may visible or sometimes it may not visible, right? The sweat contains, okay, whatever the sweat gland secretes, that secretion contains large amount of water and having dissolved salts, okay, having dissolved salt as well as sodium and urea. Okay, so the contents of this sweat includes majority of water and also having the dissolved salts, sodium as well as urea, right? So this regards the sweat glands. So where this sweat glands can be found? Majority of the these sweat glands are found in mammals, right? So majoritively these sweat glands will found in the mammals, right? And second one, sebaceous glands. Okay, we all know familiar about these words. Sebaceous glands. Okay, these glands are alveolar glands, same like sweat glands, right? They also found in hair follicles, in connection with hairs, and also independently around the genital organs, tip of the nose, and edges of the lips. This gland secretes an oil to lubricate the hairs. Okay, the secretion of this gland consists of waxes, fatty acids, and cholesterol. Right. So in this case, these sebaceous glands also have the tubular-like arrangement, and alveolar glands means these sweat glands as well as sebaceous gland have the multicellular nature. Right. They are found in hair follicles. Okay, they mainly originate or they mainly placed in the hair follicles in connection with hair. Okay, so these sebaceous glands are kept or they are situated in the hair follicles which are close connected with the hair and also independently around the genital organs. Okay, these sebaceous glands not only present or not only connected with hairs, they also independent from the hair follicles, that is genital region or genital organs, as well as tip of the nose. They were present where first they were connected to the hair follicles and secondly independently around the genital organs as well as tip of the nose and edge of the lips. Okay. At this region we will form the sebaceous glands, right? So this gland secretes oil. Okay, the secretion of sebaceous gland is oil. So what this oil will do? This oil will lubricate the hairs. Okay, so this gland will lubricate the hair. The secretion of this gland, okay, the secretion of this gland consists of waxes, right, fatty acids and cholesterol. Okay, it is nothing but the composition of the sebaceous gland, right? The composition of the sebaceous gland or the secretion of the sebaceous gland consists of waxes, fatty acids as well as cholesterol, right? So this regards the sebaceous gland, right? So last one is the mammary glands. Okay, we all know about this mammary glands. So the main important feature of the mammary glands is that this can be found only in mammals. That is the point, right? So these characteristics of mammals, they secrete milk generally. In females for nourishment of young one. In monotremes, both sexes may secrete milk. This condition is called as gynomastism. Gynomastism, which is not a normal condition. Okay, which is not a normal condition. Okay, monotremes have compound tubular glands, whereas in other mammals have compound alveolar mammary glands. Okay, so the thing is here, mammary glands are only characteristics of the mammals, right? And second point is that they secrete milk, right? In case of mammals, only females have the mammary glands, right? So the female will have the mammary glands and they will secrete the milk for the purpose of the nourishment of their young one. For the nourishment of the young one. Okay. In case of mammals, we have monotremes. Right? What are mean by monotremes? So monotremes are nothing but these are the primitive mammals. Right? So these are the primitive mammals which have a high content of yolk here. Okay. So in this case, these primitive mammals have both sexes, means male and female. But in this case, both sexes have this mammillary glands which have ability to secrete milk. Where in case of monotremes. But this condition is called as gynomastism. Okay. If a male mammal secretes a milk, that condition is called as gynomastism. Right? This can only found in monotremes, which are primitive mammals, which are called as primitive mammals, right? And this gynomastism is not a normal condition, means it is abnormal condition. Okay. So in case of monotremes, they have the compound tubular glands. The mammillary glands which are present in monotremes are the compound tubular glands. And the rest of the mammal, apart from this monotremes, they have the alveolar compound glands. Okay, they have compound alveolar mammary gland. Okay, so this regards the epidermal derivatives, that is, we are talking about epidermal glands, right? So in this video lecture we covered the epidermal derivatives, that is nothing but the epidermal glands. Okay, I hope this video helpful for you. Thank you.